All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us today. This is Daniele Bravetti, Communication Manager at Wolf Labs. Very excited to be moderating a couple of panels about fashion today. It's going to be a full hour with me, so bear with me. Sorry, guys. We'll have two different panels. The first one is going to be focused on young designers and brands and agencies as well. So figures from the fashion world that are working at the intersection of digital fashion and traditional fashion. And then after in the upcoming panel, we'll also be delving into more seasoned professionals from the fashion world just to kind of like assess and evaluate the adoption of Web3 technology for established brands and how they foresee the future of this industry. So today I'm incredibly excited to be joined by these cool people on stage from all over the world, from Estonia, Italy, you name it. We have Zarina, Easy Studio. She's a digital fashion designer. Welcome, Zari. We have Michael from Estonia, Amazing Beast, streetwear brand, creative hub, and more. We'll delve into it a bit later. We have Svetlana Yakunina from Oni, founder of Oni, fashion creative agency, not just on fashion. And also we have Giuseppe Santonastaso, founder of Maison Rags. We have two Maison on stage for some reason. I don't know how this could ever happen. This is incredible. Both brands. Anyways, so let's get this started. So as I just mentioned, Zari is a digital fashion designer. Despite this super young age, she's been around for a while. So I'm gonna just like a little bit. She's been around for a while, right? So almost 10 years, 8 years.
Yeah, for my brand, yes.
Exactly. So, what's the gist about digital fashion? Why are you so passionate about it? What do you see, about digital fashion is going to make the difference as compared to traditional fashion? And how do you see digital identities and virtual personalities becoming a thing in the real world?
Hi, guys. My name is Zarina. I am from Uzbekistan, and back in my country, I founded my fashion brand, and we were like releasing collections, participating in runway shows. A bit like later, when I was 20, I think, I was invited to co-create, co-organize Uzbekistan Fashion Week, and we were like, bringing all designers and media guests from all around the world to introduce them our culture, our fashion, our designers. And then I was invited to participate in Milan Fashion Week because there was a person coming from Italy to our country to discover designers. And she saw me and she really liked my collection because it was inspired by gladiators like Roman Empire. So I was probably one of the first designers from Uzbekistan coming here. And when I saw Milan and the lifestyle of Italians, I was like, oh my God, like somehow this is my lifestyle.
I need to stay.
Yeah, I definitely need to stay. So I made decision to move here. So I had to close my company. I had at that time team of like 10 people, like sewers, cutters, and the internal team. And I had to like shut everything down. It was like a painful experience for entrepreneur who built up everything from scratch. And then when I moved here, I was like, okay, if I want to continue my profession, I have to open up again the physical place, find again people who will be like nearby, and we can basically copy paste what I have back in my country. And I thought, if I will have to move one more time, like that will kill me, like emotionally, like with my efforts and energy, it could be like really difficult to handle. So I was just dreaming that if I would have a space where everybody could come from any place of the world and they can engage with my brand, with my clothes, and I will never lose that community. That would be like priceless. So I was dreaming about that, and when I moved here, COVID hit it. So within COVID, we start to have a race of all the digital movements in all sectors and in fashion as well. And when I saw like 3D softwares for the first time, I was like amazed. I was like, it looked like a miracle for me,
So
you know?
it immediately clicked for you, like right away.
Exactly, and it made immediate sense in my mind, and I was like, I know it's a new thing, I know it will take time to get adopted, but this is exactly what I needed, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people in the globe who will need it as well, so it made perfect sense to like adopt it and start to use it.
Awesome, thank you so much. Michael,
Hi.
hi. Do you want to bring us behind the scenes of Mason Beast a little bit, just to explain what it's all about, and then we'll maybe expand on it, because probably people don't know about it. So.
Sure. Well, thank you for calling me young, but you know, for being young as I am, I've worked in quite a few different jobs and industries, from hospitality to finance and everything else. But the passion, the love was always urban culture, hip hop, fashion, music, all of it. And so at some point I thought, if to leave everything behind that was done, and you would want to do something that you want to do for the rest of your life for pure passion, it would somehow have to encompass all of those things. And this project came along. It started as an NFT project called A Kid Called Beast, and we got this IP, and I came to my closest friends and then business partner, who's sitting there too, and said, listen, why don't we just, change life radically and do what we wanted to do forever, and let's figure out how we do it with fashion, with music, and everything else. So we ended up starting a fashion brand, using the IP and then creating our own, and put maison in it, because we wanted to, from the get-go, explain that we're not just going to be a fashion brand, we're going to be like a fashion house, and we're going to do a lot more than just clothes. We're going to do accessories and everything else. Another opportunity presented. I think when you speak things out, it sort of happens. We started the fashion brand, was going very well, and I was like, listen, but the music thing has to be a part of it too. And then it just so happened in our country, Warner Music was just about to leave the Baltic states and leave the smaller markets. And so I came to the guy running it and I said, listen, why don't we start a music label? Let's take the artist from Warner Music, let's get the management for Warner Music and just start a record label. And we did. So Warner Music left, we got their top artists, we got the management, and we started Maison Beast Entertainment. And the idea was to connect the two things in such a way that we could always have the best artists in the country wearing our clothes on stage in the music videos, and connect these two worlds. And so that's working very, very well for us. And then obviously we have a few more ideas of different industries to basically create Maison Beast as this urban culture umbrella brand.
Like a real a movement,
exactly,
right?
like a movement. And when we grow up, we watch guys like Jay-Z do Rock Nation, and then doing a sport agency and a record label and a club. So that's what we wanted to build, and that's what we started building, and so far so good.
I'll save the question about P. Diddy and Jay-Z for off the stage.
I haven't been to those parties.
All right, on to Svetlana. Hello, Svет.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. And thank you, of course, for inviting me. And it's such a pleasure to share the stage with males, but also especially with females, because we are not that many in the field, in this field.
Yes.
So I'm really happy to see more females. About me, actually, I work in fashion, but I'm more like from the tech side. So I'm more a nerd person. My dad is a programmer. I used to program a lot, I could hug an Alexa a lot of time ago. So right now I'm mostly focused, on fashion, but actually from technological side, how we can solve the problems in fashion, how we can make fashion more sustainable. And my end goal is to kind of contribute to the global climate, whatever is happening with the world. So that's kind of it about me. For last 2 years, I did a consulting. I worked with different startups, helping them to connect with fashion brands, also learning what actually fashion brands need from these startups.
Exactly, that is my question. So is there a vision about, besides all this technology that are really getting traction, of course, AR, AI, metaverse, whatever, how do you connect builders with brands?
It's not very easy, especially because many of the fashion conglomerates, they have their teams inside. I think, I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of people, of course, from fashion, they know that LVMH, who has Louis Vuitton and a lot of other brands, they invest in different AI tech startups, and they kind of acquire them so they can do things inside, build the things inside. So if you're an external agency or external solution and we try to work with this brand, it's pretty complicated. But if you have something, I would say, particular, like for example, this summer I worked with the brand. They try to film crypto movies on the global market. So it's more about, like, if you're a normal person and you watch this movie, it's funny. But if you are from crypto and you know, like, all these influencers, you are thinking like, wow, that's so cool. And they try to bring fashion brands on board. They try to bring other like little startups too, so they can sponsorize the film and be like to publish their collectibles and things like that. So I think for them it's pretty easy to connect with fashion brands because it's something kind of very innovative. But it's very hard for the startups who do the same stuff as everybody else. So I will totally recommend to build something. I don't say really new because it's complicated, but try to think, of course, out of the box, think different, and all of that. Yeah.
Thank you. Giuseppe?
Hi.
So, hi. So it's a pretty interesting story, yours. Like, so you have a background in traditional fashion, right? In companies, as a consultant. And then you decided to launch your own brand in Italy. In such a fragmented, complicated market. The timing as well is, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
And you decided to kind of like push the limits and in a way separate yourself from the competition, the young competition, integrating digital elements into it. So all your items are going to be chipped. So what's your story? What's the idea behind Maison Rex? Or Maison, I think I should say Maison. Maison Rex, sorry guys.
Well,
my French is awful.
First of all, as we told about that in Lugano when we met, I'm a marketing guy and I work like in such few brands as consultant in marketing. And in this last time, I think the trend is, of course, the digital, and a lot of brands that now ask my help for improved sales and whatever, followers and strategies and others, are trying to approach digital. So the reason why, of course, I founded the brand is because of I had a lot of no when I talked about digital, and since it's for me, one of the most way to improve everything inside the brand, but also in people, because you can connect wherever you are. The reason why, of course, is this one. So to merge the ordinary way to do fashion marketing and, let's say, to be an entrepreneur in an ordinary way, and of course also in digital. So all my strategies are phygital. So I'm trying to connect the ordinary way with the digital way. For example, now this week I will sign a contract with a new client, and they asked me to create a strategy phygital, because the brand will be I can say the name because it's the brand of Luis Figo. So of course we need to push the image of Luis Figo as the, let's say, the founder, the entrepreneur, of course, the first people, the main character of the brand. So they want to bring this idea to a digital world. So we are trying to mix it. But yeah, of course, my brand is something limitless because I can do whatever I want.
Uncharted waters, you can do it.
Yeah. And in terms of competition, of course, in Italy there are a lot of brands and even emergent one. We are trying to push on quality of of clothes and fabrics, and of course this whole strategy to create a community, of course the digital, and we are trying to create a 3D universe in terms of not, of course, metaverse or stuff, but on the brand website will be, instead of where I am on the blog and stuff, I create a sort of universe where you can find project where we are trying to bring to life. So more or less, it's digital. The needs of to be, yourself and to do what you want in digital way, in ordinary way, and whatever.
So I mean, like from your words, from what I gather from your words, is that brands are looking at digital.
Yeah.
Consumers are looking at digital, of course. It's a matter of finding a way to.
Yeah. I think some contents, for example, I really work a lot with CGI because it will be the trend, and it was the trend. I think maybe because it's more attractive, when you scroll on TikTok and whatever, and you lose the attention. You stay on the content like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Maybe this one you want to see what happened at the end, what's the drama, and if it's real or not. So we are trying to merge we're trying to put the real part in the first time, and the digital way in the digital part in the second time. So you can you know, absorb. You can feel it, not push it on the face, you know. Yeah, so you can approach it, and so yeah, it's a big opportunity. So I think it's
Awesome.
the most powerful team in this way. Yeah, totally.
Awesome, thank you. So Zari, what's the status of adoption as a fashion, you know, the digital fashion designer? What's the status of the adoption right now? Do you feel there's a barrier between the public, the masses, and designers? And if there's one, what is it all about? Is it technological? Is it like sort of a learning curve where they slowly understand what digital? Because I feel like sometimes there's some sort of a, oh yeah, but it's digital. Oh, it's cool. You know, I don't know. There's some sort of also like bias towards digital fashion.
I don't think there are bias, but I think that for general public to own a digital garment doesn't make so much sense at the moment. So digital fashion now is more like in B2B sector, and for people it is just something cool to have as, you know, the pioneer. So everybody who had or NFTs with 3D assets or metaverse skins,
Yes.
they are like proud of it as of a collectible something. But of course, in daily life, we don't need that. So that's totally fine. But now for use case for digital fashion is mainly to improve the work for fashion brands, because our industry is actually like very, very complex. And it is a business, so it needs to drive attention. It always has to be like visible. It always has to attract new audience. So, for instance, if like I work a lot with AR, and if a store will establish the AR mirror on the vitrina of the store, you will immediately see how many people will be staying there. And of course, it's like more brand awareness, like more people will come inside. You can advertise your collection, and then you can use the 3D assets in all your like internal circles. So it is basically simplifying, fast-running, making more efficient, making more sustainable, and also economical, all the processes inside the our production process. So it doesn't have to be for end consumer, but for end consumers, what we do is we do like phygital items, like for instance, like this ring that is one of our latest inventions. With this ring, you can pretty much free your pockets. You can put here your credit card. You can put here your business card, and we want to implement here also the keys for your door. So the idea is that you don't have to bring unnecessary stuff with you. You can just like be stylish in your own personal like manner, and then it is a real utility that people need. Like everybody have keys, everybody have wallets, everybody have business cards. At
So
least
like
in our environment.
A phygital experience.
Yeah, phygital experience, something is that is useful for everybody. That can be.
So what you're saying is that, considering the status of adoption right now, the biggest business model for fashion designers is mostly like enhancing the traditional experiences for traditional brands, kind of like creating in-shop experiences where AR can come to handy, But right now, there's, the level of adoption on the end consumer is not there yet. Because we don't live in a metaverse right now.
It's not there. It's not there. Absolutely.
And you think it's going to happen? Do you believe in do you believe in a future where we're all sitting in a room, like staring at a wide, screen, and living in a?
It is happening already. Meta, they launched their AR glasses just yesterday, I think, or 1 day ago. So with AR glasses, this was our idea in the beginning when the metaverse became a hype. I was like a big believer in AR and didn't invest so much of my time in the metaverse and the 3D assets there on their platforms. But I was thinking, okay, if one day people will be able to see each other and notice some things that are connecting them, like clothes, but they will be in virtual shape, that would be awesome, because like I can see instantly if who is owning which NFTs, who is in which community, and this actually sparks a lot of interest and conversation between people. So there is again utility behind it. So with VR headsets, AR glasses, Meta Ray-Ban glasses, yeah, it makes total sense to see.
It makes a lot of sense to us, bunch of nerds. But yeah.
Yeah, we will love it. We will love it. But also normal people will be able to use it and have fun.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I'm an advocate for that. So, talking about adoption and community, what brought Maison Beast to Web3? How did it happen? And what elements of Web3 do you think elevate your business and can bring value or even sense of community?
Well, I'll put it this way. Maison B started literally from Web3. It's not that we had the brand and then we came to Web3. It's that we had a project from Web3 that kind of inspired the brand.
Oh, okay.
And then the IP itself inspired the brand. The eye that we, you know, on the IP, like literally became the logo of the brand. So, I mean, that was the starting point. In terms of how it can help, and I'll give you a few examples of what we're doing, which I think is actually quite innovative and different. We took the 3D files of the characters that we own, the IP that we own. We obviously created 3D, like cool like Maison B's clothing for these characters. And what we did is we replaced the hang tag for our clothes, which is typically just your brand and, you know, a price tag or whatever. We replaced it with like almost like Pokemon cards, where you have a booster pack, you open it, and you get a collectible from our IP and everything that you buy. And so, like, you create this whole collectible experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be digital, but the very fact that this collectible mindset that people have in the digital world, we now brought that into the clothes through hang tags as one example. The other part of it is production. Like, if we are able to sell our physical clothes through an NFT first and get people to choose the size, we can manufacture to the right sizes and have less waste and less sizes that won't sell. So that's, you know, from the production size, it's definitely a lot more efficient, more sustainable, and a cheaper way to do it. And we're integrating, you know, chips in our clothing, and actually, I think it's not, for example, just introducing chips in your clothing, which is cool, but it's how you interact and the story behind it and the marketing possibilities that opens up. And so we're going to do that actually with you guys in October with a really, really cool project that we're going to launch. So I think that a lot of the tricks, the ideas, the behaviors from Web3 can be very practical in physical garments.
And also, if I can double down on it, also the Web3 target persona seems to fit perfectly your brand, like?
Well, definitely. But you know what? We very quickly realized that crypto is a funny world. We have a big community and a lot of support in Web3, which is amazing. In terms of sharing content and people speaking about it, but it's also not necessarily the highest purchasing power. So we sell a lot more clothes to people off Web3 than we do to Web3.
That's cool.
Even though we have this huge supporting community in Web3, like, we're building the brand still as a standalone brand, and it's funny that, like, the pop-ups, the retails, the fashion weeks that we did in New York and Milan, like, that generates us a lot of business from
much more than
Web2, much more than actually.
It's easier to shill on X.
Yeah, so on X, like, it's easy for people to say, like, wow, this is cool, and share.
Cool.
And then when it comes to purchasing behavior, it's slightly different. That's how I feel.
That's understandable. So Svetlana, it's time for a very provocative question that I have. Like, it's been brewing for a while. So since you know, metaverse, AI, they'll have been kind of like buzzwords for a while. You know, the storm has been weathered a little bit. Like, trends is kind of like, losing a little bit of traction. So the question is, why do brands or big brands don't really use this technology yet? Or should I add a yet, or should I remove it?
I think if you speak about Italian market, like, come on, who does something in Italian market apart OTB, like Diesel, Maison Margiela, and things like that? Who else is doing something? I think it's the problem of Italy in general. If you think about Paris or like France or America, even, they are more open to the new technologies. And but in Italy, we try to work with different brands, like with a lot of different brands, especially with like when I worked in consulting. But the problem is that for Italian market, especially for the end consumer, it's a bit too much. Like, now you are, of course, obliged by the European Commission to have digital product passports, what for you is great. But regarding the rest, it's not obliged. So the brands don't want to invest much in that because it doesn't save their time, their money.
Also because I feel like, brands in a way are very traditional, structures
in Italy
where
more,
when they need to cut some like resources in the kind of innovation, which like,
yeah, because
it doesn't make any sense, but that's what they do. right?
Yeah, Web3 is still part of the marketing activities, and they prefer investing in traditional marketing
Yes.
because they know that it
Yes.
brings them like a certain amount of money. And yeah, we tried, like mostly right now we work with American brands or with Asian as well, because Asian people, like the community there is just crazy. They're always open to the new technology. Even
Yeah.
like I'm from Kazakhstan, and everybody knows about Web3, Bitcoins, and like whatever it is, NFC and stuff. And
So you're telling us that Italy is low.
so Italy is just a little bit slower
little bit
in
behind.
technology. Like you have so many amazing things in Italy, like food, the production, so
But
many.
no Web3.
But not technology in general. If you think about Italian as a whole, it's not
No, I
technology.
mean, it makes
yes.
sense. Like,
But
because
it's not bad. You're better in many
yeah.
other
Especially
things.
brands like they're very traditional. Like,
Yeah,
in
because
the end,
also
like,
it's family-owned businesses.
yeah,
so
the CEO of an Italian brand isn't someone who started like from the very beginning, you know, cutting and sewing. It's like probably a designer.
yeah,
you know?
even if you speak to a CEO from
Yeah,
like of the
exactly.
brand, he says, "Oh, I don't know. I have to speak to 500 other people."
They're
You
so
know what?
product
You're the CEO.
oriented that they
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see like really what's outside
Yeah,
sometimes.
in France it's much easier. Like I stayed for so many conferences in the past in Paris, and also I lived in Paris for a while. And they're much more, I would say, faster. Like especially from the tech perspective, tech for fashion, because for them they're kind of used to, especially the consumer too. Like they're all used to these kind of activities, and they always host events with the AR mirrors, whatever. But also speaking about AR mirrors, I wanted to add, it's a very it's a very great concept, but I think for the brands it's very costly. So they try to invest more in CGI, as you mentioned previously, because it catches the attention, it brings more followers.
So easier attention span and better results in terms of less investments.
Yeah, much less, because AR mirror can start from 20k euro, from 20k, and the CGI campaign can be 5k. Obviously, you will, as a brand,
It's
you
nice
will
that you're like
invest.
cranking the numbers and give us like details, because I mean, like, it's hard sometimes to gauge, assess what's the cost of these operations.
Yeah, but it depends. If you work with American brands, of course, it's the price is higher.
Okay. So since you have a background in traditional brands, Giuseppe, so, what's slowing down adoption? Do you think that, we're not ready as builders and Web3 builders to offer proper, items to them, or just they just like reluctant to adopt? And do you think what do you see in the future? What do you see coming?
Well, I think it is a strange situation because when we talk about Italian market, like the Italian customer, when they approach maybe brands from Italian culture and stuff like that, in digital they look like what's that? If they approach something that is like Paris or other Italian customer, I think they approach better than from Italian brand. Like for example, if Gucci I think Gucci did something in digital, like Gucci Vault and some stuff like that. I think the Italian market didn't approach well that kind of idea. If like Coperni did for all the last three runaway, like the dog and other situation, and a short film in art, I don't know where. In Italy, there was like every magazine talked about that, just because it's not an Italian brand doing this, but a French one. So I'm a bit afraid about that because I don't want to say that it's sure that we can approach this, can achieve this goal to be inside the Web3 as other countries are. But the way is good. For example, a lot of emerging brands like us, not like me, like us, like not the biggest one, are trying to approach this way. So I'm really happy about that.
And do you think that this is gonna bring some
some
value, like kind of like this differentiating?
Yeah, because I think there will be a moment where the emergent brand will be not emergent anymore. Yeah. So, for example, I worked with ETHMilan, and they are avant-gardist brand. So, I hope that all these new brand in Italy will be on that way. So
also, the market is really something we'll talk about briefly in the following panel. But also, the market is changing, the fashion market, right?
Yeah.
So the change that has happened over the last 20 years is insane. Like now we see people, brands dropping collections on Instagram and going sold out in 5 minutes. from with zero background, just a good like strategy, social media strategy, building a reputation. The market has really changed.
Yeah, that's true, and even the content they're sharing on social are changing because this week maybe there's a trend. The next week will be something totally different in another, from 0 to
And they're
200.
fast.
Yeah, that's fast. For example, with my brand, I'm trying to approach the new generation because I did a collaboration with a university here in Milan. And so I have like 2 classes of 2 different, courses, like social and digital communication and brand management. And also with Marangoni, where I studied in Marangoni, so I was a student. And yesterday we we seen a project with the students that are like in the last month of their study of the course. So once I will be there, for example, I think in October, in middle of October, I will speak about, like I did in another collaboration with the other university, to create something totally different. Because, for example, the class of stylists are trying to create the best way to style shooting. But I asked it to create something that is like when I worked for ETHMilan, I asked to burn clothes, and they say stay tuned. And then I think they burned like a down jacket during, I don't remember which fashion week in Milan maybe. So I always trying to push the new generation. So through the university and others.
Nice.
So maybe the new generation will be ready for that.
Awesome.
Let's hope.
Let's hope for the best. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, about luxury brands, when he mentioned Gucci and things like that, they work on Zepeto right now. It's like a Roblox, but fashion-oriented, so you can download it on the phone. And I see a lot of luxury brands, especially Italian brands, that are investing in that because you can kind of do the fashion shows there, you can develop the collections and everything else. But else, I wanted to ask you, like you said about the new generations and the students, and I think overall, globally, the students and like Gen Z, they're more ready to try new technology. Yeah. But if we're speaking again about Italy, I hosted 2 courses in Marangoni, and every time I would ask them, like, did you play ever like Fortnite or any other game? And only maybe 2 or 3 people said yes. So all of them are more like, let's say, maybe.
It's very serious for us, even though I don't agree.
A lot of people are still not ready. So I think if we all combine our efforts and we can teach the consumers, like our friends, and we can explain to friends that Bitcoin is not a scam, the metaverse is not a scam, calm down. If we can do that, I think the brands will follow the trend too.
Awesome. I feel like, this is not really like relevant in the speech per se, but I feel like the speculative aspect of our word, so coins, pumps, dumps, it's really affecting what we're actually building, the technology behind it in a way. Because like NFT per se is an awesome technology, metaverse as well, but the idea that there's some speculation behind it and around it kind of like takes away the value or the, kind of like, the perception is way worse than it should be in my mind. Yeah.
It stabilizes over time. Like when the
It's gonna
technology
stabilize
is
over
new,
time, yes.
you just, everybody's kind of using it and abusing it as it is, and then when things
but the
settle down.
introduction was really, the introduction was so bad that it's gotta get better, right? We really started from the bottom. Like NFT were introduced to the world with the apes and punks, and people are like, oh, you're buying a bunch of apes and JPEGs and stuff. So it's hard to them. It's hard to kind of like make them understand, NFT is actually something that can really change the way you interact with your brands and your customers, like we do at Web Labs.
People, still everybody is using Uber. Spotify did a lot of like problems. They didn't pay the musicians. And everybody's using Spotify, I think
there's growing pains. I mean, in the end, like. Guys, thank you so much for this interesting conversation with you, and good luck with your businesses.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. See you guys in 1 year, and let's do an update. Thank you, guys.